All right, guys, welcome back. So the Toyota dealership service department told me that my Toyota Tacoma needed a full AC evaporator replacement. Get this, the quote came in about $3,600 for the repair. But to be honest, the real fix ended up being a $10 part. So I'm going to show you exactly what it was and how I found it. And honestly, guys, the symptoms did not even match what they were telling me at this service department. So stand by and let's dive into it. Yeah, this is my 2016 Toyota Tacoma. The AC started acting not strange, but just started to blow warm. And down here in Florida, it gets hot. So you notice it right away. Sometimes it would blow cold air, sometimes warm, and over time it just got worse. And what I mean by that, on the far vent, it would just, the cold would stop coming out. It would start blowing warm. You get to the middle vents, they start blowing warm, and finally this vent on the driver's side would stop blowing any cool air and be warm. There must be a leak. So that was the problem. So anyway, having done this is why I went into the dealership. Let's go. Toyota must have the right equipment to find the exact problem on this thing, because it is a 2016. I don't want to get rid of this. I had it, 10 years now. I want to keep it. And AC is a frustrating beast. So I took it in. And then that's when they did the diagnostic, which was $250. Oh dear God, just to hook up their HVAC machine and pull a vacuum in that. I don't know. Got the car back, saw the quote. System wasn't completely dead. It just made me suspicious that this thing is working. So I'm going to figure this out. I'm not going to pay $3,600 on a 10-year-old truck to repair an AC. That's just crazy, because you got to rip this whole front dash out. Yeah, they said the whole dash. The whole evaporator inside the dash was failing, and that just made me, because you see videos on YouTube going, oh my God, that's a massive labor-intensive effort to get this thing. And my fear is you take this thing apart and it's just going to break something putting it back together. They said the entire estimate for the labor was $3,600, and God knows how long to do it and be without a truck. So I had a decision to make: just to prove it or just dig into it myself. I find myself, I can troubleshoot stuff. I don't always have the right tools, but I will do my best to find the problem and try to resolve it myself, just because mainly I like to learn and I just want to have that attaboy, I did it myself. So, like I said, I got the gauges. I bought some dye, and I bought another can of refrigerant, just a small can, and I put some dye into the system, followed the instructions on the manifold, read the pressures, and then I also bought a black light and just went around trying to find a leak, and came up here, checked the service port. And when you take these off, if you unscrew them, if you hear a tss, like a tss sound, then you know you have a leak at the service ports. It could be both, it could be one. And Schrader valves are a few bucks. Mine were fine, they were not leaking. What I did notice as I came over to the front of the vehicle, I checked all the stuff at night. I put in dye, right? This is at night when I was quiet. I could hear any leaks in the service ports. I put in dye with a can of 1,2,3,4YF. Again, that stuff's expensive. That's why you want to get it right and get it fixed. Otherwise, just charging the system every time is going to add up. So I put the black light on. I didn't see any really leaks. Looking around at all the ports, the compressor, and even when I had the system charged from a fresh can of refrigerant, I have the hose underneath for dripping for the evaporator, where the evaporator drains out. I extended the hose mod on the Tacoma, because typically when the evap drains, it drips onto the frame and rusts out your frame. So I extended the hose, and you can probably see it. You can see it right there. See that black hose with the metal bracket? That is, and it drips out. And I put the black light on that, and there was no indication of dye or anything in that. So that was another good thing that helped me roll out. It wasn't the evaporator leaking. Thank God for that. All right, this is the condenser on the Tacoma. And you can see it's pretty clean now. But what I did, I came in here, and there are two fittings. This one is a high pressure fitting coming out of the lower left quadrant of the condenser. And there's one in the upper right as well. Next to the high service port, I checked them both. This one I noticed, again, didn't have dye leaked out or showing up in the black light. But this whole bottom left there was covered in like oil spray, like it came up from the road. I was like, what is that? I didn't know. I'm a newbie to this. I'm kind of not too smart. And over time I said, all right, these guys at the service shop did not see that. It was so blatantly obvious. It was just oil spray. oil spray from the AC unit. Like I said, this is the high pressure fitting with the O-ring, and the oil is only going to show up where the refrigerant is escaping. And if the refrigerant is escaping externally, that means you don't have an evaporator problem inside the dash. You have a sealing problem outside the system, which is one of these little rubber O-rings that do fail. So after narrowing it down, I found the issue. It was a failed O-ring seal at this connection right here based on all the oil spray. You can look online, you can get the OEM part, you can get the rings, you can buy a kit of those little green O-rings and find the one that fits. It was about, I think I got a kit for $30 off Amazon. What I also got was some brake cleaner because this whole bottom left was covered in oil. I cleaned it off really good so I can look for a leak the next time. So went through, cleaned it all off. The system was already empty. There was no pressures. So I basically just popped off the low pressure hose. Did that. Pulled out the old rubber O-ring seal. Replaced the new rubber O-ring seal. Put a little of the AC oil in there. Not much, just maybe a little dab to fill, replace what was lost. It was a guesstimate, I will admit that. And just went in. After I did that, sealed the system up. And proceeded to, I also bought a vacuum pump for like $80 off Amazon. So I bought the manifold gauges and the vacuum pump. I pulled a vacuum, hooking up the vacuum pump to the manifold gauges. I pulled a vacuum for about, first I did I think I did an hour. And then I held it, turned off the pump just to see if the leak was fixed. Because if you hold the vacuum and the pressure stays down at minus 20, minus 30, you are good, it's not leaking. But if it went back to zero, then I knew the leak was not fixed. So I was happy with that. After an hour, the gauge is held under vacuum, so then I proceeded to continue to pull the vacuum for like another 2 hours to remove any moisture or air from the system. And that was good, just clean it out. So the longer the better, right? I just let that pump run, and then I was happy. And now I was ready to charge the system back up. I already had 2 cans. I knew how much weight the system needed based on the gate on the plaque up here. It tells you right there. R1234YF, 510 plus or minus 30 grams. Sometimes the cans run 300 grams. You have to look and see what and just measure out how much you put in. You can use a scale as well, a little food scale to see how much you put in. So I recharged the system and didn't have to remove the dash. No major disassembly, no $3,600 repair. Just a simple little O-ring seal replacement. The trick is if your system is still under charge, under pressure, you need to go have a shop just evacuate the system for you. Most times they will do it. They'll charge you, of course, everything. You got to pay people for their time and effort. They'll evacuate. If there's any gas, they'll probably keep the gas, the refrigerant, so you're not going to get that back. Or you can just have them fill it up too. You're going to pay. Either way, it's up to you. So I've been driving this for now almost a month, and I have the gauge in the vent, and it's still blowing 45, 50, and it's 95 degrees down here, 85% humidity, and it's working better than it did when I got the truck new in 2016. So biggest hurdle to this is diagnosis. It wasn't the evaporator. If it was the evaporator, that's a whole different video. It's a nightmare. You can do it yourself. The other problem is the gas, the refrigerant in the system, you'll have to have it evac by a shop, and that's where your extra dependency comes in. But if your system was drained like mine, then you're good to go, because mine all sprayed out onto the condenser. So like I said, I bought the manifold gauges, and I have the pump, the vacuum pump, and that is useful because I also have a 2012 Sequoia, which I use to diagnose a leaky service port. Low and high pressure service ports were leaking. I replaced those with new Schrader valves using the tool. The system was fully charged. Not fully, it leaked out a little bit because I noticed it was getting warm, so I replaced both Schrader valves using the tool without losing any refrigerant in the system. Replaced those. Hey, I got a horn. So I used the tool to replace the Schrader valves, dabbed a little oil on the O-rings on the Schrader valve just to make a good seal, and it's been holding ever since. So buying the gauges, if you have cars, you think you're older cars, you're going to need to do this, just get them, learn how to use them. It pay for itself, right? So just assuming that it's an evaporator and trusting the dealership and spending $3,600. All in all, let's say I bought the tools, the gauges, the pump, and the O-rings, $150. and I'm going to use it over and over, and I help diagnose it, and I actually learn something, and I use it on another car as well. So it's paying for itself. The refrigerant, like I said, on this vehicle, 50 bucks per can, so that was 100 bucks. Again, I would have paid this at the service department. So learning to know how to do things yourself in this day and age is gold. You're a unicorn. People don't know how to change their tires, don't know how to check their oil, don't know how to filter their own air pressure, or change the air filters as well, or use one of these jump starters to boost your battery, or test your battery, let alone to indicate if it's going to die. So here's the takeaway. Just don't immediately assume the most expensive part is the problem. In AC systems, especially on trucks like this Tacoma, the smaller external leaks are far more common than those internal failures like they indicated with the evaporator, which was not the case. And you know, if you don't trust the first diagnosis, if I would have trusted that, I would have burnt $3,600 and time, effort, and that would have been the problem. They still would not have fixed the leak on the front of the condenser unless they knew that was it, and they were just going to add on and fix that little leak with the O-ring and then do the evaporator work, and not even maybe do the evaporator work and just lie to me. So you never know, man. You got to watch the shadiness of some of these service departments, and that's down here in Key West. So they could have just went and replaced, that's a good point, they could have just went and replaced the O-ring and the condenser. Said they did the evaporator, charged me $3,600, which cost me, like I said, $150. Oh my God, I just realized that. It makes you kind of sick. So that's why you got to learn to troubleshoot and understand your vehicles. So the only time you ever want to go to the dealership service department is for what? Maintenance, warranty, repair. Warranty, warranty, warranty. Only go in there if it's covered by the manufacturer. You do not want to pay out of pocket on anything when you go to a dealership service department. Hope this helps, guys. Subscribe, like, and let me know what else you want to see. The truck is, like I said, 10 years old. The only real issue I have actually had is that little O-ring after 10 years of ownership in Florida heat on this truck. Is that the truck is solid, and I went on Carvana. This is interesting. I went on Carvana just to see what they would pay for this truck, and they came back at, it has 56,000. I put much miles on it. They came back with $26,200. I said, okay, I'm not going to sell the truck. I'm just curious. And so then a week later, they came back and said, oh, it's been increased because it's a high demand vehicle. And they said, how about 27,000? I said, oh, that's nice, but I'm not going to sell it. After 10 years, this thing kept its value